She's supposed to be madly in love with him, trust him, be open to him, allow herself to just be in this relationship with someone who is fearsome. And over the years that we've been doing the workshops that we do, I've interviewed more than 30,000 people, and when they really get intimate, they find that men are afraid of women, women are afraid of men, and yet they're supposed to have this fantastic romance. And how do you do that?
That's right, because they're supposed to want different things. But you say that really, and I've read a lot of your stuff, that men and women want the same things.
Sure, basically.
From relationships, and I never really believed that.
Yeah, basically what we are is very similar. As a matter of fact, if we go back to the embryo, there is as much female in me as there is male in you. In the embryo, we start out exactly the same. We have all the ingredients. And then what happens is that because we have to procreate, we then take on the features of male and female, and we become enemies to each other. What I want is to be loved. What I want is to be nurtured. What I want is to be taken care of and to be looked at with dignity, respect, understanding, trust, all of the beautiful things that we human beings have as our inheritance. But if I am in a relationship with this woman, I think all she wants from me is my money. All she wants is to be taken care of. She's concerned about what degrees I have, what kind of money I have, what kind of a job I have, what it is that I'm going to provide her with. And so now we become roles. You know, here's Stan and Kim. And what happens is that rather than Stan and Kim being in love with each other, now we get married and we become husband and wife, or man and wife. And in this relationship, there's something very subtle. When we go to someone who pronounces us man and wife, I stay a man, she becomes a wife. That's the way a lot of ministers do perform the marriage.
So basically, a woman kind of loses herself when she gets married.
Exactly. And in order to have any good relationship, there has to be a 100% person there. So that's 200%. And yet we get diminished. What do we say about marriage? It's a 50-50 proposition. Well, 50-50, 100% is missing somewhere in a 50-50 proposition, right? So what we need is for Kim to be totally potent, to be able to say yes when you mean yes, no when you mean no, and then look at what the no and the yes is all about. What are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? An awful lot of women feel that they can't say no to a man when he supposedly is asking for sex. But we see we're not taught any of this. Where do we learn about sex? Where do we learn about love, about intimacy, about marriage, about relationships, about communication? How do you two communicate with each other? How do you sit down and find out what your heart really wants to say?
But you also say, and here's the shocking part of what you believe, you say there is no such thing as sex.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you please explain that?
Yeah, there is no thing called sex. Now, when you look at that, intercourse is a way of procreating. All living things on the planet need to procreate. That's our basic function. That may be procreation. An awful lot of people take a piece of skin, put it into a piece of skin, and they say that's sex. That's not necessarily true. Sex includes so much more than that. Sex is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for who I am and what I am. If I'm a warm, sensitive, loving person, then what I do with my body is warm, caring, sensitive, and loving. And there's 3,500 square inches of skin on the average human body, and we center in on about that much, the genitals, so to speak. And we forget the eyes, we forget the heart, we forget the soul. And we don't get into that because no one ever taught us. We watch TV, we watch the movies, and we see what looks like sex. We look what looks like intimacy or love. And it's not. People are dying in their relationships because they can't be honest with each other. They can't open up their hearts.
You also say that Americans have no idea what love and intimacy is all about at all. We don't. In contrast to what, European?
No, most people on the planet, I think, have forgotten a very basic thing. They've forgotten who they are as their essence. I know that sounds kind of airy-fairy. There's something beside our body. But what happens is that this body is like a package. So I meet somebody, I present my package to them, they present their package to me, but we don't get to see what's inside the package. And what's inside the package is this beautiful representation of God. It's this beautiful representation of the universe. As a matter of fact, I go and I say, you know, if you knew for a fact that you were a star child, how would you act? And we are star children. We came from the stars. Where did planet Earth come from? But we think that we're slobs. We think we're slime. We treat people as if they're lesser than the God that's in us. There's an adage I've been living by for years. If God wanted to hide, God would hide in human beings, because that's the last place we'd think of looking.
You say, therefore, that sex is everything but intercourse. Is that right?
Not but. It's like an artist who has a palette. When you're painting various colors, if you're painting with just one color, black, for instance, or brown, it's going to be an awfully dull canvas. So what you need is all of the varieties of everything that's possible with a human being. But most people, they get turned on, they take a piece of skin, they put it in another piece of skin, they wiggle it around, they go pop, and they go to sleep.
And that's the end of that.
And that's the end of that. Now, if that's what sex is, give me a break. I want more than that.
We're going to give you a break right now.
Okay.
We're going to talk to our couples. We're going to get to the bitter bit here.
Yes.
You can jump in, though. As we go along,
Thank
just
you.
jump in if you feel you need to. Okay. Eric and Kim Schwam have been married for about 1.5 years, and they say the honeymoon is over. I don't know. I saw you grab her hand a moment ago. What's that all about, okay? Why do you say that, though? Who says it, first of all? Who, or both of you?
Well, I say it.
All right.
And I say it because all of a sudden there's this, well, there was this euphoria that lasted for a while from the wedding. You know, we're husband and wife. Oh, my wife. And now all of a sudden there's this role-playing that's taking over. And I'm getting into this situation of, where did this come from? And what happened to our relationship? What happened to the reason we got married?
Where did it all go to?
It went into a role, actually.
It went into a role, yes.
The role is husband and wife.
She's
and
now a
Eric
wife and
Kim.
he's a husband.
That's right. Eric and Kim got lost somewhere. The initial attraction that the two of you have for each other. I mean, look at that woman. She's absolutely lovely. And yet, do you see the love? Do you see the loveliness? Do you stroke her face? Do you look into her eyes? Do you ask her how she feels? Are you interested in what's going on inside of her?
Well, he does when he has time, when I have time.
When you have time.
But becoming a wife, for me, has been being wife, mother, caretaker.
Now, there's children involved, right?
No, there's no children, but taking care of him. Caretaker on that part.
That's
and taking
interesting
care
the
of
way she put that, wasn't it?
I know. But that's the role that I've taken on.
Uh-huh.
And I've noticed that that was inherited from my relatives, from my parents, from my grandparents, that my job is to be responsible. If no one else is going to do it, then, you know, if I don't think that he's going to do it, I have to take it on.
Now, Eric,
so I take on everything.
You told us that you're taking Kim for granted. Why do you feel that way?
I've always been taken care of.
By mother?
By mother and father and aunts and relatives, things like that. You know, what's going on with Eric? How can we take care of him? When I say taking for granted, Kim has got this way of being in control and being, let's say, that taking on being the foundation of the relationship. So I have been then taking it for granted to where I don't have to be as responsible in the relationship because she's handling everything.
Mm-hmm.
So then I kind of just take that for granted. Now I'm realizing that I need to take on my role as a husband and be more supportive. And that's new for me.
And what I would recommend is that both of you forget husband and wife.
It's difficult.
I know it's difficult, but our society has really programmed you to be something that you're not. You're Eric. You weren't a husband when you met her.
Mm-hmm.
She's Kim. She wasn't a wife when she met you. Now you take on these roles, and it's like a mantle, a heavy mantle that just kind of... And that's why I say 1 and 2 marriages wind up in divorce, and maybe many more than that, because the little boy and the little girl that fell in love with each other, they're not there anymore. They've become old. They become kind of pruny. You know, it's like, well, we've got all this work to do. And then romance takes a back seat. And where do you even learn to be a romantic? I mean, you look at some of these rotten movies that are going on, and some of them are really horrendous. There's anything but romance in it.
Stan, we've got a break. I'm so sorry. We're going to come back. We really do. We're going to come back and we're going to talk to a couple who were married and then got a divorce 3 years ago, I believe, and now they're thinking maybe they want to get back together again, maybe remarry. We'll be back with that.
Ashamed to be seen in a swimsuit? Wish you could look smashing? Maybe you need a swimsuit makeover. Send us a picture with you in your swimsuit. Tell us why you need a makeover. Send it to Kelly's Swimsuit Makeovers, Post Office Box 789, Southfield, Michigan 48037.
When you eat at Old Country Buffet, you can choose whatever you like from our buffet tables heaped with delicious meats, side dishes, salads, and desserts, all for one low price. Of course, some people think the best thing about Old Country Buffet is that it's perfectly all right to go back for seconds. Old Country Buffet. The only thing better than our food is what you pay for it.
As a Perry Redcoat pharmacist, I use these to fill your prescriptions. And I use these because only by listening to you can I help you. So if you have a question or need some advice, you know where to turn. Perry Drugstores. Come talk to us. We're there when you need us.
Stay Free and Sure and Natural Feminine Protection, regularly $2.99 each, are now 2 for $5. And for just $2.29, pick up new Vibrants, shampoos and conditioners at all Perry drugstores.
The Latino Poets Association and Friends of the Bowen Branch Library present the 1992 Coffee House Series, a delicious blend of art and poetry when Latino artists and poets present their work together, now through May 8th at the Bowen Branch Library. For more information, call 297-9381.
From 20th Century Fox comes a fantastic tale of magic.
You frank me? Catches on quick, doesn't it?
Adventure.
I'm back.
And courage.
Come on, guys! We're going to war.
Where a boy named Zach
Let's go!
and his best friend Batty
Hey, Captain!
will join forces to save their friends
Bogey at 3 o'clock.
in the magical world of Fern Gully.
Rock and roll!
Rated G. Starts tomorrow at theaters everywhere.
There are lots of ways to pick a dentist. Ask a friend, look in the phone book, but what does that really tell you about them? At 1-800-DENTIST, we refer from a select group of dentists, and we have a full profile on each of them. Their education, how many years in practice, what special training they have. And with our dentists, you have the security of knowing that we refer thousands of patients to them every month. So if you need a dentist and you want to make an educated choice, call 1-800-DENTIST today.
Ray McMichael and Mary Jane Chilton have been married, and then they got a divorce about 3 years ago. Mary Jane moved back to South Africa, but guess what? Ray wooed Mary Jane back to Michigan, and they're thinking about remarrying each other. Well, why did you get the divorce? They can't answer.
She got the divorce.
She got the divorce. Did you get the divorce? What were you unhappy about?
I felt I was no good to him anymore. I wasn't, I'd shut down. And I'd shut down.
Shut down?
Yeah. He was talking about finding another woman. And so eventually, you know, after some very strong recommendations on that side, I moved away. So that he could be free.
Long way away.
I kicked her out of the house.
What did you say?
I did tell her to leave.
You told her to leave.
Then I got second thoughts and...
Well, what did
asked
you
her to
think
come
you were
back.
missing? That you needed another woman?
Sex.
Then sex was the problem?
Yeah, that was basically the problem.
Could sex have been the problem, Stan?
Some of it. Sex is only, again, a representation. It's a metaphor. It's what he wants that he's not getting. What is it that you're not getting? What is it that is missing in your relationship, really?
Actually, it was love, I think. I didn't feel loved.
And how would you feel love? What would love feel like?
Well, sex would be there.
It would be there, but again, when you're talking about sex, are you talking about intercourse? Are you talking about the whole body? Are you talking about looking, stroking? Are you talking about all of that? And is that missing for you? Is that something that's not happening?
Yeah, that was missing.
Okay. What's happening for you? And
I thought that there was sex, but it wasn't to the full expansion of and there wasn't, in the sense, we had withholds. We'd had, I noticed we both were holding back. We'd give and hold back. We never seemed to coincide. Well, one was feeling up and the other one was down. It helped because the up one helps to lift the down one up a little, and then you sort of cross over and the other way around. And it's difficult because the one that's down seems to be withdrawn and holding back, and then the one that's giving and loving and able to be fully more expanded. And
let me ask you a question.
Love.
What are you afraid of?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm afraid, I'm noticing that it's of me, that I don't trust myself. I don't have enough knowledge or capability to take on these situations that I got myself into.
What she's saying, I say, is what almost every single person in our society is saying, but they're not honest about it. It's like she's afraid of herself. How can she handle his demands for wanting sex, for wanting more intimacy, for wanting to be loved in a way that he has in his mind, the way he likes to be loved? Now, that's not right or wrong.
Is she afraid of being controlled, maybe, too?
Part of that, I would say, very definitely, and she's
That
nodding
you
her
are?
head.
That's a big one. I mean, that's a major thing that comes up every time. That word control is just big all
I'd like
over.
to ask the panel, how many of you are afraid of being controlled? See, and I'd say the others, if you really look at it, they represent, because that's what marriage, that's what relationships generally mean, and that's why a lot of people are afraid of the big commitment word. They're afraid of commitment because that means that the other person is going to take over their life. That person is going to control them. So we guard ourselves. You see.
I want to know what Ray's been doing in the last 3 years. Has he found something better?
What I've been doing?
Yeah. I mean, now you went all the way to South Africa to get her back. I mean, what was it like out there in the street? Not that great, right?
Not that good, right. It's hard to meet women in this, especially in Michigan.
So maybe you were wrong, especially in Michigan. I don't know.
So you traveled a lot.
I've done a lot of
traveling. Lock him up
traveling.
at night or something?
I've done a lot of traveling, and I've gone out quite a bit, but I like her. She does a lot of things with me. We have a lot of fun scuba diving. She even hang glides. I mean, I like to do things like skiing and hang gliding and scuba diving.
Well, can we say that maybe you thought the grass was greener on the other side of the fence? And
No. She gave up. She gave up on the relationship.
Well,
I wanted to keep trying. You know, I mean, at times I'd get angry and kick her out. You know.
Yeah, but that's the way you resolved everything. Either kick her out or go get another woman. That's no way to resolve.
We thought maybe we should
right?
bring another woman in, and because what
now there's an idea. Dan, what do you think of that? Not a bad idea, right?
Sometimes, you know, the good
it works
part of the
in
fact,
some families,
in
doesn't
some families it does work, and sometimes it's the most destructive thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because what happens with most people is that they are looking for something else that person is not providing them. And so there's no format in a relationship for two people to really air what it is that they want, to have the freedom that you can have what you want, he can have what he wants, and then somewhere in the middle, the two of you can have what both of you want. See, a relationship, there's a lot of lies in a relationship. Almost everyone lies. It's like lying is a protective device. We lie covertly, not overtly a lot. You know, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. You're hurting. You really want something, but that's kind of a lie, an overt lie. And what we don't say to each other is what is destroying relationships. I need something from you. I want something. Is this something available in our relationship? Can I get that or can't I? And maybe the best thing for both of you is to say, hey, we've tried it, we've given it the best shot. I would recommend, though, taking a couple of sessions and really sitting down with a professional and finding out, are there areas that the two of you can blend or not? And if not, kiss each other, say goodbye to each other, and good luck on life. You're not meant to try to beat each other to a pulp if she's not giving you what you think you need, and vice versa.
We're going to take a break here, and we're going to talk next to a couple, Stan, that I think it's opposites attract or don't attract. Right now they're not attracting, I guess. I don't know, but they're holding hands. It's got something to do with the toothpaste and where it's squeezed, right? We'll be right back with that.
Calling all mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, Jeffrey Bruce wants you. Jeffrey will be doing hair makeovers on mothers-in-law and their daughters-in-law. If you and your mother-in-law or daughter-in-law are interested in having Jeffrey Bruce make over both of you, please send us a good color photo of both of you, plus a letter saying why you and your in-law should be selected. Send it to Jeffrey Bruce Makeovers, Post Office Box 789, Southfield, Michigan 48037. Hurry, deadline is April 13th.
Now, you might ask, why does a store like Meijer stay open 24 hours a day? Simple. Convenience. We want to be ready when you are, even if you're not ready till 3 in the morning.
Save on our already low price of Legs Hosiery. Choose from their full line of pantyhose or knee-highs in stock, now 20% off. And just in time for Easter, save on our entire line of women's dresses in stock. All are value priced this week at 25% off.
Meijer, a store built on common sense.
Now, at the Metro Detroit Lazy Boy Showcase shops, you can trade in your old chair, sofa, or table and get $60 to $320 off the purchase of new Lazy Boy furniture. Choose from our entire selection, Michigan's largest. Your trade-in furniture will be donated to the Salvation Army. For example, your chair in trade is worth $120 on these Lazy Rest recliners. You pay $279. Your old sofa is worth $240 in trade on this genuine Lazy Boy sofa. Trade in today at all 4 Lazy Boy Showcase shops in Warren, Taylor, Novi, and Sterling Heights.
Grand Traverse Resort brings you another one-tank trip. Stay at Grand Traverse April 17th through June 11th, and each guest receives a free round of golf on our fabulous course, Spruce Run. For a surcharge, play our Jack Nicklaus designed course, The Bear, or try a game of tennis or racquetball for free. Grand Traverse Resort has a complete health and racket club, a variety of dining, weekend children's programs, 20 great shops, and outstanding accommodation, great nightly rates, and free recreation April 17th through June 11th at Grand Traverse Resort, Traverse City.
It's a caravan, a convoy, 6 truckloads of the best carpet values Clyde's has ever assembled. Carpet selling all over America for $9 to $12 a yard, all reduced to just $4. And there's more. Values from $13 to $20 a yard, only $6. Just 2 low prices. See these Berbers for $4, these plushes for $4. All these Saxonies, traceries, and sculptures for only $6 a yard. Closeouts and irregulars of America's best carpets, all $4 or $6 a yard, none higher. Only till Saturday at all Clyde's liquidation centers.
Okay, Jim Carlson and Sharon Spencer, you're up next. They're thinking about getting married, but there's one little problem. They are complete opposites in just about everything. Jim, you're analytical. You like everything to go just right. Sharon, you're more of a free spirit, and you drive each other crazy sometimes. What drives you the craziest about each other? You want to start, Sharon?
Oh, I get to go first?
You get to go first. On my show, you get to go first.
Well, that's wonderful.
Right.
I like that. I guess what probably drives me the most crazy is his extreme literal interpretation of everything. So it's like I have to spell everything out exactly. So if he asks me, when will I be ready, and I say in a few minutes, he's timing it, to the 30 seconds. Well, this is 30 seconds, and I'm not used to that. I'm very right-brained, and he's very left-brained. So it's the miscommunication that comes between looking at things from a whole and not being exact, and being with someone that needs very exact answers.
Are you always late?
Sometimes and sometimes not.
Is she always late?
A fair amount of the time.
A fair amount of time.
Yes.
Not for business, but for other things. I divide it up.
Business, you're there on time.
Yes.
For work, you're there on time.
Yes.
But if it's pleasure, that's your time.
Yes, right. That's the way I interpret it.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Exactly.
That's very normal. Okay, Jim, what drives you the craziest about her? Well, you can't think of anything.
Yeah,
There's so many. Is that it?
No, it's not that many. It's only been a few times I really got crazy. And one of them is in the bathroom. We both, I think, are conservative around water and things like that, but when she goes in there, she uses the water, it's either all on or it's all off. She squeezes her toothpaste from the middle, and I'm going from the bottom, and there's been a time or two when I've just had to walk out.
Just get 2 tubes.
That's
what we've done.
We've even thought about 2 bathrooms.
Well, I think that's a good idea. 2 bathrooms is a great idea. If you've got them, you should use them. Do you have 2 bathrooms in your place?
I do, but one upstairs,
Well,
downstairs.
okay, the bathroom's solved. What else? What else?
Well,
It's just that you're very opposite in nature, both of you, right?
Yes.
Stan?
Well, what they do, they're still not going for the common that both of you have. You have the love for each other, and through that love, you can overcome virtually anything. It's the behaviors. We learn behaviors from other people. He learned his behaviors somewhere in the past. You know, like, where did you learn to be the way you are? And Sharon, where did you learn to be the way you are? And what happens is that we go back to that time rather than say, okay, now I'm in this relationship, and let's start the new behaviors that serve each other, the way that we can be in love with each other. Take the problem. Whatever the problem is, put it out here, and both of you attack the problem co-creatively. In other words, you're both like you're partners with each other, and this problem out here called her being late, or whatever you perceive the problem to be. And you take the problem and then you both look at it and say, how can we make this a win-win situation for both of us, rather than he's wrong, she's wrong. They're not wrong. They have a problem, and they need to look at the problem. And you said something that I wanted to jump in before. Most of us take pleasure and take the relationship and put it on the bottom of the ladder rather than make it the thing that is the most important for us. You see, what are you working for? What are you doing all of the other things for? Supposedly to have time and money so you can have a relationship. Well, the truth of the matter is it's backwards. That your relationship ought to be the most important thing, and coincidentally, the other things are secondary, like a job or whatever we need to do that feeds that. But people work all day, they get tired, they come home, hi, good night, you know, or whatever. And there's no romance there. There's no joy, there's no joie de vivre, there's no love, there's no juice. And in order to get the juice, you really have to be with each other in a way that just makes each other the most important thing on the planet.
Got to get that juice, right?
We
Got to
have a
get
lot
that
of
juice
it
back in
already.
your marriage.
Good.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go talk to a gal who issued an ultimatum to her boyfriend, and we're going to find out what happened when she did that when we come back.
We all hear the term the big day when talking about a wedding. But is it just a big day for the bride? Is the groom left out of the plans too much? Tell us about your big day. Call 827-9336, 827-9336 now.
It's Advanced Floor Coverings 50-50-50 sale, where every carpet, every pad, even our custom installation are all 50% off. Just one example is this top-selling dense plush installed with premium pad. Regular $25 complete, now just $12.50 completely installed with premium pad. This 50-50-50 sale includes every carpet and pad in our showroom. So hurry in now through Saturday to Advanced Floor Covering in Warren, Waterford, and Royal Oak.
Well, Detroit, spring is finally sprung, and that means it's time for spring cleaning. Not yours, ours. It's the Baby World and Teens annual spring cleaning sale, and we're brimming out everything at unbelievable prices, with cribs starting at only $89, or save up to 70% on padding, up to $200 on trundle beds. But it's this weekend only, so hurry on into Baby World and Teens during our spring cleaning sale, and save 25 to 70% off everything store-wide.
The Pontiac Area Urban League will be holding its annual fundraising dinner on Friday, April 10th. Keynote speaker will be William Gray, president of the United Negro College Fund and former Majority Whip, House of Representatives. For ticket information, call 338-4581.
To
Don't wait until you feel sick to get your health checked. Project Healthorama is back and bigger than ever. From March 23rd to April 16th, Channel 7, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Blue Care Network, and the United Health Organization will offer free health screening tests to everyone over 18. And new this year, a blood test that detects possible prostate cancer in men for a small fee. We'll be at 100 locations across Southeast Michigan. Call 424-8600 for more details.
Well, David Hart and Stephanie Kaufman had a great relationship until they got engaged. Now they fight every single day about little, stupid stuff. What kind of stuff?
Anything. The way he chews his food, the way he takes a bite, just anything.
Picky.
It's just been constant bickering for the past couple months about anything.
Tell us about you and David going to the video store.
That was, I think it was Monday night. We were just driving home from his school, and we were going to go to Blockbuster. And I told him that there was one coming up on the left. No, there's not. No, there's not. Yeah, there is. So then we see it coming up. Oh, you're so smart, he says, you know. Oh, you're right. And it kind of made me mad, because he was like, you know, make me sound stupid the way he's saying it. So then that kind of got us irritated. And then he just starts doing little stuff, you know, like he'll sit there and poke at my leg, or he'll just sit there and tickle me or squeeze my knee, because I hate that. And I just finally hit him and said, knock it off. And he goes, fine, fine, fine. I said, no, just knock it off. I'm all right, just knock it off. He's like, no, I just won't say anything, I'm sorry. You know, and it starts a big old fight, and then we didn't talk for the rest of the night.
David, talk. Talk to us.
Well, she was in a bad mood that night, and I try to get her in. I try to get
I understand that.
I try to get her in a good mood, and I joke around with her, and it gets her even more upset.
Have you tried to get her into a good mood by poking her before, and it didn't work?
No, I was tickling her.
Well, maybe tickling and it didn't work?
Nope.
You've never tried that before?
Makes me even angrier.
But you never tried to
Oh, yeah, I was tickling her.
coax her out of it.
Oh, the more you talk to her, the more upset she gets.
Do you ever get in a bad mood?
Yeah, I do, but not as long as she does.
Now, what else do you fight about?
The way I drive.
The way you drive?
Yeah, I drive in traffic a lot.
Yeah.
And she gets very nervous. She always grabs the dash. Brake lights, and she'll grab the dash.
I'm glad she doesn't grab the steering wheel.
Probably has tried before.
Well, Stan, help for this relationship.
Sure, we laugh, but at the same time, it's so sad, because what is going on is, where did they learn how to be lovers? Where did they learn to be in love with each other and to respect each other's differences and to give each other space to be whoever they are? David is who he is, and for her to accept that this is the way he is. But you see, you don't talk honestly. You're not sitting there. I have a recommendation for the two of you. Sometime tonight, tomorrow, I would love for you to do what we call a heart share. And the heart share is that two people sit across from each other, and you have a candle between the two of you. You don't look at each other, because you don't want the stimulus of her or him. When you look at the candle, close your eyes, and you just let your heart speak. It's like putting your lips to your heart and speaking what's going on inside of you. You both are frustrated. So he comes on parent to her little child, she comes on parent to his little child, and guess what you've got going on there? You've got a parent-to-child relationship rather than a fun, loving child-child relationship, a good adult-to-adult relationship, and nurturing parent, nurturing each other, because the two of you, if indeed you do get married, are going to be sharing the same space for many, many years. So if the things that annoy you about him, her, are in the way, again, you let that be the blinder. It blinds you to who they really are. Two beautiful people who just want to love each other and let everything else get in the way.
Well, another one of our problems, I think, is it almost feels like we've reached a hump in our relationship and we just can't get off of it. I mean, I know what he's going to do next. He knows what I'm going to say. We can read each other's mind, and it just almost seems like there's nothing else to learn about each other. There's nothing new that's going on, you know? It's just
absolutely true.
We're stuck in a rut, and we just can't get out.
So they prolong their engagement?
No, what I would recommend that they do is not even think about getting married yet. I get that out of the equation. Don't think about it. If you've got a wedding date, put it off. The important thing is to fall in love with each other and love his differences, love her differences, and find creative ways so that the two of you can live in love with each other. There are ways.
Have you got a wedding date?
It won't be until like 94 or 95 because he has to finish school.
Good. That's a good idea, right? We like that. That's right. We're finally going to get to the ultimatum lady when we come back, okay? We'll be right back with that.
If your child seems to hate school and talks about dropping out, we need you for an upcoming Kelly & Company show. Call 827-9336, 827-9336 now.
Famous furniture factories forced to sell over $50 million of overstock inventory, and we bought it all for pennies on the dollar at Value City Furniture. Save over $200 each on thousands of Crater sofas, only $288 to $388. Four-piece pine finish country bedroom, not $550, only $394. Five-piece stop sign dinette over half off, $94. Three-piece table sets over half off, $198. Designer lamps, your choice, $19 each. Come prepared to buy. The factory's loss is your gain. The factory direct sale now at Value City Furniture.
If you stop for this light and another driver didn't, negligence is pretty obvious. But how do you find out if a hospital or doctor made a mistake? How do you know if you're the victim of negligence in a medical setting? I'm attorney Sam Bernstein. If you have any questions about your medical treatment, call me.
Law Office, this is Sam Bernstein.
Attorney Sam Bernstein. Free phone consultation, free hospital and home visits. Right now, dial 1-800-CALL-SAM.
Another smart reason to shop Pickway.
Wait here. Mommy needs to get some shoes.
Okay.
Pickway has much better styles than those other places. Jennifer, aren't these nice?
Uh-huh.
That's my little girl.
Don't miss Pickway's spring dress shoe sale. Selected women's and girls' fashions. On sale from just $7.99 to $10.99.
Did you find some shoes, too?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so smart.
Pickway shoes. Smart choice.
We asked a leading scientist to demonstrate TV news viewing patterns in Metro Detroit. This is what he showed us. If the water filling this glass represented news viewers, one TV station would fill it this much. Yet another station would fill it this much. But only one Metro Detroit TV station results in this. Channel 7 Action News. More people get their news from Channel 7 than any other station in Michigan. It's a scientific fact.
Henrietta Nix gave her boyfriend of 3 years an ultimatum last week. Either marry me or forget it. What happened?
Well, you know, we've just been very close, and we've been through ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but just he had a quadruple bypass, and I found myself running around doing things for him like he was my husband and performing duties and things. And I just want more as a relationship. We're very close. He does a lot for me. I do a lot for him. He says he loves me, and I love him. But he says this past week, because this is when the ultimatum was given, he told me that he was afraid to commit. He's afraid of marriage. But he loves me.
But he loves you.
Yeah, he'd love to have me around.
And he didn't want to come on the show.
No, he didn't want to. He said that the shows like this only give the woman's perspective. They only give the woman's view. I said, of course you say that when you're not going to come on.
I heard that. That came from a man.
When you're not going to come on to give your perspective, then of course you would say that. But he refused even a phone call. But he says
he let you come on and do it all.
Oh yeah, he told me, he says, baby, I'll even tape it for you.
Tape it for you.
Yeah.
Have you both been married before?
Yes, I've been married before, and he's been married before.
Did he have a horrendous marriage, or was it bad, or are there bad vibes? I mean,
Well, he did. He had some situations that occurred that made it impossible for their marriage to continue, and the same in my...
Okay, Stan, it's the old commitment thing, right?
It's the old commitment thing, and it's the fear. Fear, again, raises its ugly head. The book that I wrote, Fantasies Can Set You Free, fear is a negative fantasy, a negative mental image. So if he says, I don't want to marry you, or I'm afraid of being married, what is his mental image of being married? Now, all the interviews that I've done with the thousands of couples I've worked with, what it is that they're afraid that they're going to lose their identity. They're afraid, now for instance, he's a man. If it doesn't work in our society, the man very often gets penalized as far as having to pay. So if I've accumulated any wealth of any sort, now immediately I have to give it up, virtually regardless of how long we're married. And one more time, what we do is backwards. The two of you ought to go into counseling, but we're afraid of the word counseling. We're afraid of therapy because that means something is wrong or sick. Yet if something was like you had a broken bone or a sprained wrist, you wouldn't hesitate to get some help. You've got a sprained emotion. He's got sprained thoughts about what's going on if indeed he does commit to marrying you. And he's afraid of the divorce, afraid of what's going to happen. That's constant. That's constant. We're afraid to do that.
Well, he always talks about responsibility. He seems to think that a man's responsibility is more paramount than a woman's responsibility in a marriage, but I think that it's a dual thing.
Absolutely.
It's a dual purpose. And if he's afraid, I'm afraid too, because he has grown children, he has other family members and things like that.
Yeah.
That, will they accept me? You know what I'm saying? They're grown, okay, grown children and relatives. And will they accept me into the relationship? I have some fears also, and I think it's very unfair for him to think that he's the only person that's afraid here. I mean, in most relationships, both people have fears because you never know what that person's going to do. You can be with them all the time and spend a lot of time with them, but when it comes down time to show what's really going on or the true feelings, will he be there for me?
Oh, exactly. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes because this is it's so constant. It happens all the time.
Well, they have a lot in common, too. I mean, everything seems to be going for them, and...
at the same time, they're both afraid.
That's right.
Negative mental images about will he, will she, will they, and that scares us, so we contract. And when we're afraid, we do contract. We go into a ball, almost, to protect ourselves.
We have to take a break here, both of you, all of you. We'll be right back.
It's a show any parent can't afford to miss. Pedophiles. Learning how a group of suburban parents caught and convicted a trusted baseball coach who molested his team. Who can parents trust with their children? Be a part of this very important audience. Call 827-9336, 827-9336 now.
I am shaped like a pear.
I hear it all the time.
My problem starts at my waist and goes down from there.
I get so many letters from women asking what they can do about their hips or stomach or thighs.
Now, Fitness Quest and the Jane Fonda workout bring you a new comprehensive lower body system developed specifically to target those problem areas.
You need aerobics to burn calories for overall weight loss and muscle toning exercises to shape and firm.
This system gets results because it combines today's hottest innovation in fitness, high-energy, low-impact aerobic stepping led by the Fonda instructors with one-on-one training with Jane. Step 1 is aerobic stepping for cardiovascular fitness, lower body conditioning, and weight loss. By adding the bench step to your routine, you can burn even more calories, up to 300 calories per 35-minute workout.
Stepping uses your own body weight as resistance against gravity.
Step 2 is targeted toning, a unique lower body firming and conditioning session with Jane.
The floor routine's the one I do myself. I get everything I need in 25 minutes, and boy, does it work.
It works every major lower body muscle group: abs, hips, buttocks, and thighs.
The key to this new system is variety.
Step 3, the call is free and brings you Jane Fonda's lower body system, including a high-quality adjustable bench step, Jane's lower body video, and personal training guide. Forget expensive health clubs. Have more fun at home with Jane's new lower body system.
If you want lower body results, it's a step in the right direction.
Call toll-free now. To order Jane Fonda's lower body system, including adjustable bench step, call 1-800-258-6400. We'll bill your credit card 3 easy payments of $19.95 each. Canadian offers accepted. Call for price and shipping information. You get a full 60-day home trial with a money-back guarantee. The total price, just $59.85 plus $9 shipping and handling. To order, call 1-800-258-6400. That's 1-800-258-6400.
Here's an important message for women who have lost the support of a spouse due to separation, divorce, death, or disability. The Jewish Vocational Service offers job-seeking skills and placement assistance to women who need to re-enter the workforce. For details, call them at 559-5000.
Sherry Strezelecki divorced her husband. Well, almost. The judge had granted the divorce, and Sherry was ready to start a new life, but her almost ex talked to her and talked her into going back with him. And now she thinks she's made a mistake. Why?
Because nothing ever changed. It's been going on for a year.
You've been back with him for a year?
Well, the divorce was granted in October, but the papers were not filed. So while my lawyer was filing the papers, I took him back, and I called her, and she had everything canceled. And that's, what, 6 months now? 7 months?
Are you fighting? What?
Constantly we fight. Everything.
Are you living in the same abode?
Excuse me?
Are you living together?
Yeah, we're together.
You're still living together?
Yeah. We have 2 year-olds.
Would you move apart for a while?
No, we never have. 1 week. That's it. 1 week.
Well, we asked him on the show, too, and he refused. In fact, he didn't even want you to come on. He was very mad at you.
A lot of people were very upset for me coming on here.
Coming on the show.
Yeah.
And I say that's, again, one of the biggest cancers. Let's talk about it. Let's find out what are the problems. What's going on? You see, when he came back, when you took him back, you took back all the same problems, and nobody interceded. Nobody sat down with the two of you and said, okay, whatever his name is, what's going on? What's really happening inside of you?
Yes, we did sit down and talk.
Okay, but then what happened?
Neither one of us continued with the counseling or anything like that.
You see, that's when we generally stop, because...
But we chose different ways of counseling also.
It just doesn't work that way. It's a shame, because, again, here's another couple who are attempting to live in love, and yet where do you learn? You know, we talked a little while ago in one of my books, I talk about we need licenses for everything. You need a license to be a mechanic. You need a license to drive a car. You need a license to get married, and yet to get married, that license, you don't have to have any proficiency whatsoever. All you need to do is take a blood test, go down, and that's it. Instead of learning what to do, how do you drive this car called marriage? You know, do you run into walls all the time? Yes. So when you're arguing with each other, you haven't learned to communicate. You haven't learned to say, what I really want, what I really need is this. Ask 100% of the time for 100% of what you want. Be willing to hear no, and then negotiate the difference. Make it a win-win situation. You see, you have a right to ask for what you want. He has a right to ask for what he wants. But what happens is when we do that, we then hear a no, and then we're destroyed. Because we don't hear no as just a no. We hear it as a rejection.
Isn't it interesting, though, the most important things we do in our life, marriages and children, parenting, and we have absolutely no expertise in it until we get there, and there's no courses to take, really.
Except ours. And that's why I started it. You see, and yes, it's an abashed plug, but the reason I started this is because I watched myself. I had a divorce, and I saw, where did I learn anything?
Yeah. Okay. Breaking, as you can hear.
She doesn't finish what she starts. He never follows through. He's so immature. If this describes someone you love, we can help. Call 827-9336 about an upcoming show. The person you love may have adult attention deficit disorder. Call 827-9336 now.
While your Arbor pharmacist is busy filling prescriptions, the pharmacy technicians are busy filling the shelves. That's because Arbor carries a far more extensive inventory of prescription drugs than most stores, including many the others don't even carry, plus a complete selection of over-the-counter drugs. And should you ever need a medication that's not in stock, your Arbor pharmacist will locate it as soon as possible. So get your prescriptions filled efficiently and economically at the Arbor Pharmacy. You can't get any better.
There is a difference. At House of Blinds and More, you get free shop-at-home decorator service. Call now. Incredible selection. Call now. Factory direct prices, fast 7-day delivery, free installation. Now choose from our Vertical Blind Designer Plus line and save an additional 10%. Call 357-4710. The House of Blinds. There is a difference.
And remember, if we can't beat your best deal, your blinds are free.
At the House of Blinds, we're a shade above the rest. You know what you want, but you don't know how to get it.
Rent it at Rent-A-Center, where affordable payments get you new brand names, free delivery, free repairs, and the flexibility to rent for a day, a week, a month, or till you own it. Now this 4-piece contemporary bedroom is $13.99 a week, or choose our traditional style.
We back it up, we see you through. It really comes together at Rent-A-Center.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mary Conway. Coming up on Action News Midday, one major insurance company has a plan to save you money by cutting your car insurance rates, but the final decision may be up to you. We'll have the story. He's only 10 years old, but he's accused of terrorizing his neighborhood and raping 6 young children. Also, it's something the federal government has kept secret for decades, and now the story is out. Join us for those stories and a complete look at the weekend weather forecast on Action News Midday.
Something to say.
Okay. Stan, as a single person, you know, I can't even get up to the panel. And it's been my experience and that of many of my friends that relationships are wonderful when they're in the romance stage, that when you first meet, you know, everything is really great. And then when it starts to get close to saying the C word or the M word, you know, commitment and marriage become real dirty words and people start running in different directions. So I'm wondering what advice you have for the single person in dealing with all of the negative images and negative fantasy around the word commitment. How can we get around that and still keep the relationship going?
Commitment to me is a North Star. It's a navigational tool, but most people have taken commitment to mean a strangle, kind of a hangman's noose, rather than something that can assist them in getting to a destination. My destination is to be in love with the person that I'm in love with. My destination is to fall deeper in love, to rise in love, so to speak, and to assist my beloved in getting everything she or he wants. So that's the way we do it. Redefine the word commitment, redefine the word marriage, so that marriage is not this strangulation knot, and it's something that can assist us, that commitment can assist us to get to where we truly want to be. And I invite everybody to come to the Troy Marriott Saturday, or
yes, you're going to do some workshops.
Yes, we're going to do a workshop from 10 until 6 at the Troy Marriott on Saturday, and then at the Dearborn Inn on Sunday, again from 10 to 6. Please be there an hour early to register if you've not yet called the numbers that we have to get there. And then you'll learn in person. Those 8 hours that we devote are 8 hours of intensive, beautiful, gentle learning on what it is that we can't get across in just a few minutes.
We have to break, and I'll tell you what's on tomorrow when we come back. Thank you, Stan, for being with us.
Is shop till you drop your motto? If you have closets full of clothes that still have the price tags on them, or if you're addicted to the Home Shopping Network, call the Kelly & Company office now at 827-9336, 827-9336.
How about poor Fred Wilson? What a shame. So soon after retiring. I hear his wife needed help with the funeral expenses. Oh, that's ridiculous. He had Social Security.
Oh, when my brother died, his wife received a check from Social Security, all right, for $255. Oh. Funeral costs were more than $4,000.
How on earth did she pay for it?
Fortunately, my brother bought some additional life insurance a few years before he retired.
I'll bet that cost a pretty penny, huh?
Not with Colonial Penn. Each unit costs just $6.95 a month. Less than 25 cents a day. I have it myself.
We both do.
Both of you?
That's right. Neither one of us had to answer any health questions or take a physical exam. In fact, no one our age can be turned down, regardless of health.
No one?
No.
Is this a plan that offers a lot of protection at first and then reduces it little by little each year?
No. I've had this coverage for years. My benefit never decreases.
Your rates go up every year, right?
No, not at all.
Friends keep telling friends about whole life insurance from Colonial Penn. With this coverage, your premium never increases for any reason, and your benefit won't decrease simply because you grow older. If you're over 50, you cannot be turned down. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company specializes in protection for mature men and women. To find out more, call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-626-8142 for free information. And receive this handy guide to Social Security absolutely free. That's 1-800-626-8142.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Call now for your free information and your free book. That's 1-800-626-8142. Call now. There's no obligation. 1-800-626-8142.
How do you keep your husband at home when your neighbor's cutting her lawn in a G-string? On the next Oprah.
Oprah, weekdays at 4 on 7.
Well, I want to thank Stan Dale very much for being with us and all our panel. It's not easy to talk about your life and your marriage. And you notice they're all holding hands right now? It's a good feeling, as you said, right? Okay. Well, tomorrow, what's that saying in the spring? The young man's fancy turns to love, to which I can add, and a young woman's fancy turns to weddings. This is a funny subject to be talking about tomorrow. I hope they've thought about this. We'll meet some disgruntled grooms with their brides-to-be who feel like they have been left out of the plans for the wedding. And they'll be here to shout, "It's my wedding, too." Join us, won't you?
Kelly & Company has been brought to you in part by Old Country Buffet. The only thing better than our food is what you pay for it.
This week, get 60 portraits featuring more big portraits, including 4 8x10s, plus a portrait